Emma had barely finished warming up for vocal practice when her phone began vibrating non-stop. One notification. Then another. Then 20 more. She frowned and unlocked the screen. Her smile disappeared. A video of her had somehow appeared on one of the biggest student social media pages in Korea. It wasn't recent. It was an old clip from nearly a year earlier, before she had begun her transformation. She was struggling through a dance routine, out of breath, while classmates laughed in the background. Someone had edited dramatic sound effects into the video and added large captions across the screen. "This girl thinks she can become Korea's next idol." Another caption followed. "Should dreams have weight limits?" Within hours, the comments had reached thousands. Some defended her. Most didn't. Emma slowly lowered her phone. So this is what she meant. Jun-suk looked up from the piano. What happened? Without saying a word, Emma handed him the phone. His expression darkened. "Sua. I can't prove it." "You don't have to." He looked at the upload time. This wasn't random. Emma sat quietly on the edge of the stage. "I thought I was getting stronger." "You are. Then why does it still hurt?" Jun-suk sat beside her. "Because you're human." Emma stared at the floor. "I keep telling myself their words don't matter." They don't. But hearing them every day. She swallowed hard. "Gets exhausting." Jun-suk nodded slowly. "My sister used to compete in figure skating." Emma looked at him. People criticized everything. Her height. Her smile. Her body. Even the way she celebrated after winning. Emma listened carefully. One day she asked our coach why people were so cruel. What did he say? Jun-suk smiled faintly. He said, "The louder people become, the closer you are to something worth noticing." Emma let those words sink in. The louder they become, the closer you are. She nodded. Then maybe I'm closer than I thought. The following Monday, Starwave Entertainment sent 3 judges to observe regular classes before the official audition. The entire school buzzed with excitement. Students whispered nervously in every hallway. "They're here already. I heard one of them discovered 3 famous idols. I can't believe they're watching us." Emma had no idea they were observing. She simply focused on dance practice. The routine was one of the hardest the class had learned all semester. The instructor clapped his hands. Again. Sweat rolled down Emma's forehead. She kept going. Again. Several students began losing energy. Emma kept dancing. Again. One by one, students asked for short breaks. Emma didn't. She remembered the mornings she'd spent running before sunrise. The night she'd practiced until security closed the building. She pushed through the pain. Behind the mirrored wall, 3 Starwave judges watched silently. One of them made a note. Excellent work ethic. Another wrote. Significant improvement compared to archived student evaluations. The 3rd judge looked toward Emma longer than anyone else. Interesting. Lunch arrived. Emma was carrying her tray outside when someone called her name. Emma. She turned around. Cha Min-woo stood a few feet away. Several students immediately slowed down to watch. Emma smiled politely. Hi. He hesitated. I was wondering. She waited. If you'd like to eat together. The hallway became completely silent. Even Emma looked surprised. Oh. She glanced toward Hanul, who was standing nearby with wide eyes. Thank you. But I've already promised Hanul we'd eat together. Minwoo nodded quickly. Right. Of course. No problem. He smiled awkwardly before walking away. As soon as he disappeared around the corner, Hanul grabbed Emma's arm. What was that? Emma laughed nervously. I have no idea. You seriously don't? No. Hanul stared at her. Emma. I think Cha Min-woo is starting to notice you. Emma shook her head immediately. Impossible. You didn't see his face. He looked nervous. He never gets nervous. Emma smiled. Maybe he just wanted to be nice. Hanul wasn't convinced. Neither was half the school. Unfortunately, Yoon Soo-ah had also witnessed everything. Her jaw tightened. This can't be happening. One of her friends crossed her arms. People keep talking about Emma. It's only because she's changing. Soo-ah glared at her. Whose side are you on? I'm just saying. No. Soo-ah interrupted sharply. I'm ending this before the audition. 2 days later, the school held a rehearsal concert for parents and faculty. Every student would perform. It wasn't part of the official audition. But the Starwave judges would be attending. Backstage, nerves filled the air. Students practiced lyrics. Dancers stretched. Teachers hurried from one room to another. Emma quietly adjusted the microphone in her hands. Her breathing was steady. Jin-suk walked over carrying a small bottle of water. You ready? She smiled. As ready as I'll ever be. He nodded. Remember. She laughed. I know. Sing like the Emma you hear during late-night practice. Exactly. She took a deep breath. Thank you. As Emma waited behind the curtain, she heard someone call her name. Emma. She turned. It was Minwoo. He looked unusually serious. I wanted to say something. Emma waited patiently. He hesitated. Owe you an apology. Emma blinked. For what? For the cafeteria. Her expression softened. I shouldn't have assumed you were at fault. You deserved better. Emma was silent for a moment. Then she smiled gently. Thank you. Minwoo looked relieved. I know saying sorry doesn't erase what happened. It doesn't. He lowered his head. But I wanted you to know I regret it. Before Emma could reply, the stage manager called her name. Emma Carter. You're next. She nodded. I'm coming. She looked back at Minwoo. I appreciate your apology. Then she walked toward the stage. As the curtain slowly opened, hundreds of parents, teachers, students, and the 3 Starwave judges looked in her direction. The auditorium became quiet. Emma closed her eyes. She remembered every cruel laugh. Every insult. Every tear. Then she smiled. When she opened her mouth to sing, the first note that left her lips was so pure that several people in the audience immediately lifted their heads in surprise. Even the Starwave judges stopped writing. Every eye in the auditorium locked onto Emma. And for the first time, no one saw the girl they used to bully. They saw a star beginning to shine. The final note lingered in the auditorium long after Emma lowered the microphone. For a heartbeat, the room was completely silent. Then applause erupted. Not polite applause. Thunderous applause. Parents stood to their feet. Several teachers exchanged stunned glances. Students who had spent months laughing at Emma stared at the stage in disbelief. Principal Oh Sung-ho smiled proudly from the front row. Remarkable. One of the Starwave judges leaned toward another. Was that really the same student from the evaluation reports? The second judge nodded slowly. The improvement is extraordinary. The third judge never took his eyes off Emma. Raw emotion. Excellent vocal control. And she connects with the audience. He wrote one sentence across his evaluation sheet. Watch closely. Backstage, Emma took a shaky breath. Her hands trembled so badly she almost dropped the microphone. I actually finished. Before she could gather her thoughts, someone wrapped her in a hug. Kim Hanul. You were amazing. Emma laughed through happy tears. I thought my voice would crack. It didn't. I forgot one breath. No one noticed. Emma smiled. You think so? I know so. Jin-suk walked over with a proud smile. I told you. Emma looked at him. You heard the Emma from late night practice. He nodded. So did everyone else. Before Emma could respond, the stage manager hurried toward them. Emma Carter? Yes? The Starwave judges would like to meet you after the rehearsal. Emma froze. Me? Immediately after the program ends. Hanul gasped. Oh my goodness. Emma looked at Junsuk. He simply smiled. Go. News of the meeting spread through the school faster than the rehearsal itself. By the time students returned to their classrooms the next morning, everyone was talking. I heard the judges requested Emma personally. No way. They never do that. Maybe it's just feedback. Or maybe she's already been chosen. Yoon Soo-ah slammed her locker shut. Ridiculous. One of her friends spoke carefully. What if they're really interested in her? They're not. But. They're not. Soo-ah's voice was sharper than usual. Across the hallway, Emma ignored the whispers and headed toward class. She had promised herself she wouldn't get carried away. One good performance didn't guarantee anything. She still had to earn her place. Later that afternoon, Emma entered the music room for the private meeting. 3 Starwave judges sat across from her. She bowed respectfully. Thank you for inviting me. The oldest judge smiled warmly. Relax. Emma nodded and sat down. The second judge opened a folder. We've reviewed your school records. Emma's heart pounded. We also watched your rehearsal yesterday. She clasped her hands together. We have one question. Emma swallowed. Yes, sir? Why haven't we heard about you before now? She blinked. She searched for the right words. I wasn't ready. The judges exchanged glances. What changed? Emma smiled softly. I stopped trying to prove people wrong. The room became quiet. She continued. I started trying to become better than I was yesterday. The oldest judge leaned back in his chair. Interesting answer. He closed the folder. The official audition is still next week. Emma nodded. We're looking forward to seeing you again. She bowed deeply. I won't disappoint you. As she left the room, she let out a breath she hadn't realized she was holding. She wasn't guaranteed anything. But for the first time, important people were beginning to notice her for the right reasons. Unfortunately, she wasn't the only one paying attention. Yoon Soo-ah had been waiting outside the building. She watched Emma leave with a smile on her face. Her own smile disappeared. This has gone far enough. She pulled out her phone and dialed a number. A familiar voice answered. What do you need? I need a favor. What kind? I want Emma Carter humiliated before the audition. There was a brief pause. What are you planning? Soo-ah looked toward the music building. I'm going to make sure she never walks onto that stage. 2 days later, students arrived at school to find chaos. Teachers rushed through the hallways. Staff members searched classrooms. Principal Oh Sung-ho looked unusually serious. Emma frowned. What happened? Hanul hurried over. The audition songs. What about them? They're gone. Emma's eyes widened. The official music files disappeared from the school's server. What? No one knows who deleted them. Students gathered in small groups, whispering nervously. If they don't recover the files, the audition might be cancelled. Emma felt her stomach sink. Months of preparation could disappear overnight. That afternoon, an announcement echoed through the speakers. All students participating in the Starwave audition must report to the auditorium immediately. The atmosphere inside was tense. The principal stood on stage. We've recovered most of the deleted files. Relieved sighs spread through the audience. However, everyone stiffened. One student's performance track is still missing. Emma's heart skipped a beat. The principal looked down at his clipboard. Emma Carter. The auditorium erupted with whispers. Emma slowly stood. Yes, sir? The backup file cannot be found. She stared at him in disbelief. I submitted it on time. We know. Our technicians are still investigating. Soo-ah lowered her head to hide a satisfied smile. Exactly as planned. The principal continued. If the file isn't recovered by tomorrow morning, you'll have to withdraw from the audition. Emma felt the room spin. Withdraw? After everything she'd sacrificed? After every early morning? Every tear? Every insult? It couldn't end like this. Jin-suk immediately stood. There has to be another way. The principal sighed. The rules require contestants to submit approved accompaniment. Emma looked down at the floor. Her dream was slipping away. As students began leaving the auditorium, Jin-suk gently placed a hand on her shoulder. Don't give up. She looked at him with tear-filled eyes. What am I supposed to do? He held her gaze. Trust me. Emma frowned. What are you thinking? A determined smile slowly appeared on his face. If they erased your music, I'll create an even better one before sunrise. Emma stared at him. You'd do that? I'd stay awake for a week if I had to. She felt tears gathering again. This time, they weren't tears of defeat. They were tears of gratitude. Neither of them noticed Suwa watching from the balcony above. She folded her arms confidently. You can write all the music you want. She whispered to herself. It still won't save her. She already had another plan in motion. One that would strike on the morning of the biggest audition of Emma's life. Emma looked at the clock. 9:42 p.m. Jin-suk's small home studio was filled with sheet music, keyboards, cables, and empty coffee cups. He sat in front of his computer wearing headphones, listening to the melody over and over. No, he muttered. The chorus needs more emotion. Emma stood inside the recording booth, watching him through the glass. You've been working for 3 hours. He didn't look away from the screen. We're not finished. You have class tomorrow. So do you. Emma smiled faintly. You don't have to do this. He finally turned around. Yes, I do. She looked confused. You believed in yourself when everyone else laughed. The least I can do is make sure you have music worthy of your voice. Emma felt a lump rise in her throat. Thank you. Jin-suk nodded. Now, let's make history. By midnight, the new arrangement was complete. Jin-suk played the finished track through the studio speakers. The room fell silent as the final note faded. Emma's eyes widened. It sounds. She struggled to find the right word. Incredible. Jin-suk smiled. It sounds like you. Emma stepped into the booth and recorded the song again. The first take was good. The second was even better. On the third take, she closed her eyes and remembered every cruel word she'd endured over the past year. Every laugh. Every insult. Every lonely walk home. Every morning run. Every drop of sweat. When she finished, neither of them spoke. Jin-suk slowly removed his headphones. I've never heard you sing like that before. Emma whispered, neither have I. At 3:18 a.m., they submitted the new accompaniment to the school. As they stepped outside, dawn was beginning to brighten the sky. Emma laughed softly. We stayed up all night. Jin-suk stretched his tired arms. Worth it. She looked at him. What if I lose tomorrow? He shook his head. You already won. How? You became someone they can never bully into giving up. Emma smiled. For the first time in a long time. She truly believed him. Audition day finally arrived. The entire school buzzed with excitement. Television cameras stood outside the gates. Entertainment reporters interviewed students. Large banners welcomed Starwave Entertainment. Emma took a deep breath before entering the building. Today's the day. Hanul hugged her tightly. No matter what happens. I'm proud of you. Emma hugged her back. Thank you. As she walked toward the waiting room, students who had ignored her months earlier suddenly smiled. Good luck, Emma. You'll do great. We're cheering for you. Emma politely thanked each of them. But deep inside, she remembered they had once laughed the loudest. Their kindness felt strangely unfamiliar. Inside the waiting room, contestants quietly practiced. Some hummed scales. Others reviewed choreography. Suwa sat in the corner, staring at Emma. A slow smile crossed her face. She reached into her bag. Then quietly slipped something beneath Emma's chair while no one was looking. Moments later, an event coordinator entered. "We'll begin shortly." As contestants stood up, a small envelope fell onto the floor beside Emma. The coordinator frowned. "What's that?" Emma looked down. "I don't know." The coordinator picked it up and opened it. His expression changed immediately. "Come with me." Emma blinked. "What happened?" He didn't answer. Instead, he led her into another room where the principal and 3 Starwave judges were waiting. Emma's heartbeat quickened. The principal held up several photographs. "Emma, can you explain these?" She looked closely. Her eyes widened in shock. The photographs appeared to show confidential audition documents inside her school locker. "I've never seen those before." One judge spoke calmly. "Someone submitted an anonymous report accusing you of stealing audition materials." Emma's face went pale. "What?" The principal looked disappointed. "The envelope found under your chair contained copies of these same documents." Emma's voice trembled. "I didn't put that envelope there." One judge studied her expression carefully. "Are you saying someone planted it?" "Yes. I swear." The room fell silent. Outside, contestants continued preparing, unaware of what was happening. The oldest judge finally spoke. "We have reviewed security footage from the waiting room." Emma held her breath. "It shows the envelope was already beneath your chair before you entered." Emma's eyes filled with relief. The judge continued. "It also shows another contestant placing it there." The principal frowned. "Bring up the footage." A staff member played the video. Everyone watched silently. There was no doubt. The person slipping the envelope beneath Emma's chair was Yoon Soo-ah. The room became deathly quiet. The principal slowly removed his glasses. "I don't believe this." Minutes later, Soo-ah was escorted into the room. She looked confident until she saw the paused security footage on the screen. Her smile vanished. The principal's voice was firm. "Would you like to explain?" Soo-ah opened her mouth. Nothing came out. The evidence was undeniable. She lowered her head. She swallowed hard. "I'm sorry." The principal's disappointment was evident. "You attempted to sabotage another contestant." One of the Starwave judges added, "And you nearly destroyed your own future." Tears welled in Soo-ah's eyes. "I was afraid." "Afraid of what?" She glanced at Emma. She kept getting better. Everyone started talking about her. "I couldn't stand it." Emma simply looked at her. Not with anger. With sadness. The principal sighed heavily. "Yoon Soo-ah, you are disqualified from today's audition pending further disciplinary action." Soo-ah broke down crying as she was escorted out of the room. Emma watched quietly. She had imagined this moment many times. She thought it would feel satisfying. Instead, it only felt heartbreaking. Jun-suk gently placed a hand on her shoulder. "You okay?" Emma nodded slowly. "I just wish she had believed in herself." A staff member entered. "Emma Carter." She turned. "The judges are ready. It's your turn." Emma closed her eyes, took one deep breath, and walked toward the stage where the performance that would change her life forever was about to begin. The auditorium lights dimmed. Emma stood alone behind the curtain, gripping the microphone so tightly her fingers turned pale. Beyond the curtain sat 3 Starwave judges, school administrators, teachers, and dozens of students waiting for the next contestant. Her heartbeat thundered in her ears. For a brief moment, fear tried to return. Then another voice echoed in her mind. "You'll never belong here. No one wants an African idol. Give up before you embarrass yourself." Emma slowly closed her eyes. "No," she whispered to herself. "I'm not here to prove them wrong. I'm here to prove myself right." The stage manager smiled at her. "Emma Carter. You're on." The curtain opened. Emma stepped into the spotlight. The auditorium became completely silent. She bowed respectfully. Hello. My name is Emma Carter. Today, I'd like to share a piece of my heart with you. She nodded toward the sound engineer. The music began. Backstage, Jin-suk stood with his hands clasped together. Hanul stood beside him. Neither of them spoke. They simply listened. Emma's voice floated through the auditorium. Soft at first. Gentle. Every lyric sounded deeply personal. Then the chorus arrived. Her voice soared. Powerful. Confident. Filled with emotion. Several teachers exchanged stunned glances. One Starwave judge slowly lowered his pen. He had completely forgotten to write. The oldest judge leaned forward in his chair. She's telling a story. The second judge nodded. Not just singing. Living it. Emma reached the bridge of the song. Every painful memory she'd carried for the past year poured into every note. The loneliness. The humiliation. The determination. The hope. By the time she sang the final chorus, tears were already rolling down the cheeks of several parents sitting in the audience. When the last note faded. Silence. Not a single person moved. Not because they disliked it. Because no one wanted the moment to end. Then, the auditorium exploded. Thunderous applause filled every corner of the hall. People stood. Teachers clapped. Students cheered. Even the judges rose to their feet. Emma looked around in disbelief. Her eyes filled with tears. For the first time since arriving in Korea, people were applauding her instead of laughing at her. The oldest judge smiled warmly. Emma Carter. She bowed. Yes, sir. Please wait outside for a few minutes. She nodded. As soon as she stepped backstage, Hanul threw her arms around her. You did it. Emma laughed through happy tears. I almost forgot the second verse. No. Jin-suk smiled. You owned every second. Emma looked at him. Our song. He shook his head. No. He smiled proudly. Your song. 20 minutes later, every contestant gathered inside the auditorium. The Starwave judges returned to the stage. The oldest judge stepped forward with an envelope. First, we'd like to thank every student who participated. He smiled. The level of talent exceeded our expectations. Contestants held their breath. We have reached our decision. The auditorium became so quiet that Emma could hear her own heartbeat. The judge slowly opened the envelope. The student selected for an exclusive trainee contract with Starwave Entertainment is. He paused. Emma instinctively squeezed Hanul's hand. Emma Carter. For a moment. She didn't move. She honestly thought she'd imagined it. Hanul screamed first. Emma. Jin-suk laughed. You won. The auditorium erupted into applause once again. Emma slowly walked toward the stage, her legs trembling. The oldest judge extended his hand. Congratulations. You earned this. Emma accepted the handshake with shaking hands. Thank you. She struggled to hold back tears. Thank you so much. Camera flashes exploded across the auditorium. Reporters quickly surrounded the stage. Emma. Look this way. Smile. Principal Oh Sung-ho watched proudly from the side. He remembered the frightened girl who had hidden in the restroom months earlier. She was almost unrecognizable now. Not because of her appearance. Because of her confidence. Outside the auditorium, television reporters immediately uploaded the news. Black African student wins Starwave audition. New talent stuns industry judges. Within hours, Emma's audition clip spread online. Thousands watched. Then hundreds of thousands. Comments poured in. Her voice is unbelievable. Who is this girl? I've never heard someone sing with this much emotion. She's beautiful. Starwave found a gem. Emma sat in the backseat of her family's car reading the comments. She stopped. Not because of the praise. Because she couldn't find a single cruel joke. Her mother smiled. What is it? Emma looked up. They're talking about my music. Her father smiled proudly. As they should. She laughed softly. For the first time. They're listening instead of laughing. The following Monday, Emma walked through the school gates. Everything felt different. Students who had ignored her stepped aside to let her pass. Others bowed politely. Several younger students whispered excitedly. That's Emma. The Starwave trainee. I watched her audition 5 times. One girl gathered the courage to approach. Emma? Emma smiled warmly. Yes? Could I? The younger student blushed. Have your autograph? Emma blinked. My autograph? The girl nodded enthusiastically. My little sister loves your singing. Emma accepted the notebook with a smile. Of course. As she handed it back, more students began gathering. Emma, can you sign mine too? Mine too. Can we take a selfie? Within minutes, a crowd had formed around her. From the second-floor balcony, Cha Min-woo watched the scene quietly. He remembered the day he'd walked past her in the cafeteria and assumed she was the problem. Now hundreds of students were smiling at the same girl he had failed to see. He lowered his head. I really was blind. Across the courtyard, Jin-suk smiled as he watched Emma laughing with the younger students. She hadn't changed. Despite the applause. Despite the cameras. Despite the growing fame. She was still the same kind-hearted Emma who thanked everyone with a genuine smile. And somehow, that made him admire her even more. Emma barely had time to sit down before another student rushed into the classroom. Emma. Reporters are outside the school again. The room erupted with excitement. They're here every morning now. I heard she's already filming a commercial. Someone said she's recording her debut album. Emma smiled awkwardly. Please don't believe every rumor. The class laughed. For the first time, the laughter wasn't cruel. It was warm. Even so, Emma never forgot how quickly people could change. Over the next 3 months, her life became a whirlwind. She attended classes during the day. After school, a Starwave van picked her up for training. She spent hours recording songs, learning choreography, filming content, and taking media classes before returning home late at night to finish her homework. It was exhausting. But every morning, she reminded herself of the promise she'd written in her notebook months earlier. 1 year from today, no one will recognize me. She smiled every time she read it. The words had come true. Not because she had become famous. Because she had become stronger. Then came debut day. Starwave released Emma's first single at exactly 6 p.m. The company expected a decent response. No one expected what happened next. Within an hour, the music video crossed 1 million views. By midnight, it was trending across Korea. By the following evening, it had spread internationally. Music critics praised her emotional voice. Fans admired her discipline and authenticity. News outlets called her the rookie who captivated a nation. Emma sat in the recording studio staring at the streaming numbers. I don't understand. Her manager laughed. You don't have to. The public loves you. Jin-suk smiled from across the room. I told you millions would hear your voice. Emma laughed. You did. She looked at him gratefully. And you never stopped believing. Fame transformed school life overnight. The same cafeteria where students once mocked her now fell silent whenever she walked in. Students hurried over carrying trays. Emma, sit with us. No, over here. We saved you a seat. Emma politely declined. Thank you, but I'm eating with my friends. She walked to the same table where Hanul and Jin-suk were waiting. Nothing about that changed. Hanul grinned. Still choosing us over the popular crowd? Emma laughed. You were here before anyone cared who I was. Jin-suk smiled quietly. And we'll still be here after the cameras leave. Emma looked at both of them. I know. Not everyone accepted the change gracefully. Cha Min-woo had spent weeks watching Emma from a distance. The more interviews he saw, the more performances he watched, The more he realized how badly he had misjudged her. One afternoon, he finally gathered enough courage to ask Emma to meet him on the rooftop after classes. She agreed. When she arrived, he was already waiting. He took a deep breath. "Thank you for coming." Emma smiled politely. "You said you wanted to talk." "I did." He hesitated before speaking again. "I've been thinking about the past." Emma remained silent. "I treated you like you didn't matter." "You weren't cruel." She answered honestly. "But you weren't kind either." Minwoo lowered his head. "You're right. I should have spoken up. I should have defended you. I should have apologized sooner." Emma appreciated his honesty. "I've already forgiven you." He looked up hopefully. "You have?" She nodded. "Holding on to anger would have kept me trapped in the past." Minwoo smiled faintly. "There's something else." Emma waited. "I like you." He forced a nervous laugh. "I think I've liked you for a while now." Emma looked at him gently. "I think you've been admiring the person I became." His smile slowly faded. "But the girl who needed someone was the one you never tried to know." His eyes filled with regret. Emma stepped closer. "I hope one day you meet someone wonderful." "I truly do. But that person won't be me." Minwoo nodded slowly. He understood. He had missed his chance long before he realized her worth. "I wish you happiness, Emma." She smiled warmly. "I wish the same for you." As she walked away, he watched her go without trying to stop her. For the first time in his life, popularity couldn't fix a mistake. Graduation day arrived beneath bright spring skies. The campus was decorated with flowers and banners. Parents filled the auditorium. Students laughed, hugged one another, and took countless photographs. Outside the school gates, something extraordinary happened. Hundreds of fans gathered behind security barriers hoping to catch a glimpse of Emma. Reporters lined the entrance. News helicopters circled overhead. Many students stared in disbelief. "Those fans are here for Emma? I've never seen anything like this." Emma arrived wearing her graduation gown, smiling as she greeted teachers and classmates. She stopped to take photos with younger students who asked politely. She thanked every teacher who had encouraged her, even those who had once doubted her. During the ceremony, Principal Oh Sung-ho stepped onto the stage. "Our valedictorian speech today will be given by a student whose journey has inspired this entire school." He smiled. "Emma Carter." The auditorium erupted in applause. Emma walked to the podium. She looked across the sea of familiar faces. Some had encouraged her. Some had ignored her. Some had hurt her deeply. She smiled anyway. "When I first came to this school," she began, "I thought success meant making everyone like me." The audience listened in complete silence. "But I learned something much more important. You cannot build your future on other people's opinions. You build it through discipline, kindness, and believing in yourself when nobody else does." She paused. "I was laughed at. I was underestimated. I was told I didn't belong. But every obstacle became another reason to keep going." She smiled toward the students. "If you remember one thing after today, let it be this. Never judge someone's future by the season they're in today. The person you laugh at today may inspire the world tomorrow." Many students lowered their heads. Several teachers wiped away tears. The applause that followed lasted nearly a full minute. After the ceremony, reporters surrounded Emma outside the school. One reporter asked, "Emma, people are calling you an overnight success. What do you think?" Emma smiled. "There is no such thing as overnight success. There are only years of hard work that people didn't see." Just then, a fleet of luxury vehicles pulled up outside the school. Students turned to look. Emma's parents stepped out, elegantly dressed. Several executives followed them. One reporter gasped. "Those are the Carter family. They own one of Africa's largest entertainment companies." Shock rippled through the crowd. "What? Emma's family is that wealthy?" She never told anyone. She could have had everything handed to her. Instead, she had chosen to earn every opportunity herself. Junsuk walked over carrying a bouquet of white lilies. I figured congratulations deserved flowers. Emma laughed. They're beautiful. I've been meaning to tell you something. She looked into his eyes. You believed in me before the world did. He smiled. I only recognized what was already there. Emma took his hand. I don't want to walk into my future without you. His face lit up. You won't have to. As cameras flashed around them, the two walked through the school gates together. Not as a producer and an idol. Not as classmates. But as two people who had found each other through kindness, perseverance, and unwavering belief. Emma looked back at the school one final time. It was the place where she had experienced her deepest pain. It was also where she had discovered her greatest strength. Sometimes, the world doesn't change because people become kinder. Sometimes, it changes because one person refuses to give up. And Emma Carter never did. If Emma's journey inspired you, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Afro-Korean Diaries, and tell us in the comments, at what moment did you realize Emma was destined to prove everyone wrong? Your support helps us bring you more unforgettable Korean drama stories every week. Until the next story, thank you for watching.